Hello everybody, my name is Dimitri with Serg Supply. Welcome back to part 2 of the adding an outlet video. In part 1, we went over how to build the outlet, how to safely rate everything. We assembled it and got it together. And this time in part 2, we're going to be going through the lesser fun and drilling holes, running wiring through the van, and getting it all buttoned up safely. So let's dig right in.
Audio Jungle.
Next step, very key here, is safety, safety, safety. We need to make sure that we won't kill ourselves putting this together. Now, I may be mistaken, but it takes somewhere around 10 milliamps to stop your heart. That's not a whole lot. Basically 15 amp circuit, 10 milliamps to kill me. Take that with a grain of salt. Granted, it's really hard to break the skin and it's got to be in perfect conditions for that to actually happen. But the point is, electricity is dangerous. With 12 volt, you may not even break your skin. There's videos of people putting their hands on opposite ends of many 1,000 volt circuits and nothing happens to them. 110 is different. You will ride the lightning if you accidentally touch a hot and neutral, hot and ground on a 110. So don't risk it. First step, grab your HSE manager, fill out a report, grab your lockout, tag out field kit, put on your PPE, eye protection, ear protection, hard hat, PT belt, grab yourself a utensil, find your nearest outlet, and just kidding, don't do that. Serg Supply does not condone putting utensils of any kind in any outlets. Please don't do it or you might be the next recipient of the Darwin Awards. But seriously, be safe. What I'm going to do here, all of that other stuff aside, is just isolate the system. I'm going to turn it off, make sure it's off, make sure everything's powered down so that when I'm rummaging back there, I'm not going to accidentally zap myself and ride the lightning. I got a smoking hot wife to get home to, so I want to make sure I get this done and wrapped up real quick. And I advise you guys be a little extra cautious when working on your power system too. So to do that, let me flip you around. 2 steps for me. Step number 1 is generally just to power off my power system. I have an external thing there. I just heard the whole thing come down. Let's get this guy out of the way before somebody gets upset. And next step for me is going to be this main shut off here. I'm going to turn this guy to the left, and now our links distributor is powered off. We have no more power going in this power system. It's safe for me to work on. All right, let's start field stripping this dang thing. I'm going to remove my doors just to be safe. There we go. And then drawer boxes are, I believe actually that I've already run wires for the fridge, and I think they're only underneath this lower drawer box. So sorry for blocking your view here for a sec. I'm just going to remove, yep, I can confirm that I am right about that last statement. I only need my lower drawer box off to access my wiring pass-through. I'll actually drop you guys down here so you can see what I'm talking about down there. I already have my main blue C cable running through. I already have hole pass-through, so I can skip the whole part of the video where I need to take a hole saw, gouge a bunch of holes in the back of the cabinet. But the downside is that cable down there is at the bottom, and good luck getting back there without removing that fridge. So that's going to be my next step. See these guys. All right. The other downside is I've taken a lot of time and care into zip tying every single cable so that it's, number 1, pretty if anybody has to look at it. Number 2, it's not going to rattle around, vibrate on the road. So just like that last miserable video I made, I'm going to have to also go back. Come on, baby. There we go. And redo all of my wiring, touch up and clean up. Okay, so I don't need to pull this thing out the entire way, I don't think, but just enough to give me access to all my wiring back there, which I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to leave this here, and we're going to go grab the multi-tool and start cutting our outlet. Before I cut my hole for my conduit box, I must first grapple with the reality of my poor decision making. You see what I'm looking at here, folks? I can't put this as high as I wanted to, but there is enough space back there to put it in the back. Except I am a bit of a monkey, and I put our carbon monoxide alarm there, so that's no longer an option. Which means I'm going to now mount this conduit box right here underneath the sink. Sorry for the poor angle. There we go. And you know what? It's not bad. It's still accessible, and I need one in the front for chargers anyway. I don't necessarily want them drooping all over at the end of the day. I grabbed an empty conduit box here. The reason being, I use this to trace. So you see those ears that stick out at the top? If you look on the back, there is a plane that you can follow all the way around that is your perfect cutting shape. So I'm going to trace probably from, let's see, let's make a educated decision here. I probably want to cut from the outside because it's going to be easier to vacuum. So I'm going to trace this thing from the outside and get to cutting. Sometimes a little violence goes a long way. It's cut. We're going to test fit this box down here. I know you guys can't quite see. Fits like a glove. All right, let's get this box put in. Okay, here we go. Let's get all of our cables situated here and just start pulling it through. Awesome. Now, really cool feature about this I want to show you is the way this works is these little levers. As you start to tighten this thing, this lever will rotate vertically and this will clamp it to the cabinet. It's really quite neat. I'll show you how this works in action. Look at that. Let's get the bottom one now. Really one of the more brilliant inventions mankind's ever come up with. But this allows us to lock this thing in. It's not going anywhere. It's nice and straight. And I can rely on this. There she is, folks. It's gorgeous. And it's ready to charge my laptop in case of a very important meeting and wanting to save an extremely embarrassing hands-on in these situation. Let's start routing some wires. Here I sit in a bit of a pickle. I don't have enough space to push that wire through, and that's a problem for right now me and future me. So what I'm going to do is grab this cable, grab this hole saw, and I'm going to put a new hole through. The main reason being it's going to help me now, and it's going to help future me. God forbid I want to add a Dance Dance Revolution platform in the front, and I need a little bit more space for some wiring. I'm going to need it. So let's make another hole. Now, mind you, I have to go through two walls here. So I'm going to go through the first one, pull the core out, go through the second one. Should be good to go. Ooh, hot potato. And back to business as usual. I might be able to freely pass this wire through. Look at that. I'm hoping that I can find that wire somewhere in here. And I've shoved it in a good long way. And if I'm lucky, it'll be just waiting for me here somewhere. But I'll be honest with you folks, I am never lucky. So I may have to do some fishing around to find it. Oh man. I'm so excited. All right, we got our wire. We got a little bit of slack. Let's get it wired up and we'll fire it on for you guys. One of the more important parts, I think, of any job is cleaning up, and this next part is something I like to do, something I'm famous for having to undo and redo many, many times over, and that's tucking my wires. Little thing we get on Amazon that you guys can also get is this right here. These are zip tie anchors. They're really neat. We quite literally just take a fastener, put it through the center, shoot this to the wall. Now we can anchor our zip ties anywhere on the wall so they don't rattle. I recommend getting these. I'm going to go pepper the inside of these cabinets zip tie anchors, make this thing look nice and clean. Now stand back in case of explosion. Just kidding, there's not going to be an explosion. Let's watch here to make sure our 110, bam, look at that. So green light is good. That means that's working. We're going to head up to the front and check this outlet. See if we also have green light. Green light is good. All right. Gosh almighty. That sucked. Everything's just about wrapped up. This took about 3 hours of my Sunday, and just another video, and probably will one day become a series called I Screwed Up or I Forgot a Wire. But, you know, overall, not too bad. Anybody can do this. It's not too difficult, technically, but it's a pain in the butt. And anybody who tells you that this stuff is easy is not being forthright with you. So take everything you see here with a grain of salt. Just to reiterate one more time, I'm not an electrician. I'm not a professional. I'm not certified in running outlets anywhere, but I do this for a living, and I talk to people who are professionals, and that's where I get... Great timing. That's where I get all of my advice. So in any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this miserable video. If you need to add an outlet yourself, hopefully this video has outlined every step of the process for you. If you want to have us build your outlet for you and just ship it to you ready to install, kind of like what you saw here today, there will be a link below to a product on our website for pre-made 120 volt outlets. But in any case, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you're thinking about placing an order, use code YT25 for a little gift from us to our YouTube viewers. Please join our Facebook community group if you have other miserable stories of van life improvements and add-a-wire adventures that you might want to share. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate you guys watching this video to the end. Thanks for joining us, and as always, happy building.